All right. So both players actually picked Cybran and Seraphim, but they
Mm,
each vetoed the other one. So Paralon will end up playing Cybran, and Petric will end up playing Seraphim.
right. But they picked Cybern first.
I think there was a different order.
Okay, okay. But those were the factions. So yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
All right, here we go. Game one of the best of five. Winner takes third place in the 2021 Spring Invitational. Up in the top, we
Mm.
have Petric as the blue Seraphim. And down the bottom, we have Paralon fighting his way all the way out of the qualifier to land himself in the bottom with the purple Cybern.
Yeah, so it should be second air from both of them. I expect. Oh, well, yeah, it should be second air, I think. And it
Surely you
is.
must rush a transport.
Yes, but also you have to make use of a lot of reclaim as well. I mean, so let's see. 125k basically. Not as densely packed in terms of compared to Rosa or the ditch, but still a huge amount of reclaim. So yeah, it's going to be a transport rush. Actually, Paralon with 8 P-gens before the air factory, so that doesn't look like a transport rush unless maybe he delays mexes for a long time and lives off reclaim, saves energy that way. Maybe that's the plan here.
It does look like the
He,
plan.
he's got to be careful because he just well, now he seems to be rushing to get reclaim with the first engineer after assisting the ACU initially, so he's a bit worried. Petric not going for that approach, going for, more normal stuff, making mass extractors,
Thanks
making
for
10
the
P-gens
raid,
second there.
Petri. But yeah,
So, yeah, I think Petric's approach is more solid, and when you're playing a map for the first time, you don't want to try new things, really. You want to play inside the comfort zone. Paralon, though, his approach is definitely it can work. It's just riskier.
I'm wondering if Paralon actually inti rushes on the back of this. Like, he doesn't have many NGs, they're all spread out and expanding to grab reclaim. And I think the distance is perhaps inti rushable.
Hmm. I would not. I don't think so. Because there's too many places that the transport can get to too quickly. Like there's bases everywhere. So yeah, you might deny the transport from getting across the map, but you're not going to stop it getting to a base. I also think that the distance is actually very large. It's probably the same as Roanoke, if I had to guess. Looks similar to Roanoke distance, which is not really into rushable if you do a good transport rush. And Paralon does go for a transport, which I think is the
Yeah.
best option here.
I mean, they're both going transport first, but Paralon's is significantly faster because he delayed the extra two P-gens that Petric got.
Yes, he did, but I think he might be overvaluing reclaim here because yeah, I mean now he's building mass extract his core mass. He hasn't built those yet. That's already an advantage in expansion if you think about it for Petric. Now Petric loads up his transport, but maybe Paralon can make good use of the transport being faster by getting way across the map and getting some aggressive proxy going, which is definitely part of his style.
Looks like both
So
transports will head over to the same side of the map, though. And Paralon might have spotted it. Like, maybe he's suspicious.
good kill on the scout from Petric's Inti. That's very important. And Paralon, yeah, he's dropping in a sort of unusual spot, not on a base. He is going to drop on a Hydro, though,
Just a
splitting the NG
highly
somewhat.
aggressive drop. And radar first, then two factories. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he actually sees this transport. I don't think the transport saw him. So everyone knows what's
Petric.
going on here.
Yeah, Petric sees it now. He has an inti directly over the NGs. So this drop is not going to surprise him at all. And because it's not going to surprise him, I don't think well, it has a significantly lower chance of working. The whole point of dropping here was to surprise Petric, basically, because that's why you don't drop in a base. Obviously, dropping in a base is going to give you more resources, but yeah, that's a very risky approach from Paralon, and he's been found immediately.
I think this is really unfortunate for Paralon. It was basically pure chance that Petric decided to expand this way instead of the other way.
I mean, it's 50-50. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pure chance, but that's a very high chance that he does that. And it's very likely that he passes over that area because he's going to drop to that base, then move on to the next base. So it's maybe the placement was wrong, maybe. But he wants to drop in some reclaim if he's not dropping on a base. So there's, it limits where you can drop to. But yeah, he's a bit unlucky, but 50-50. If that's how you want to play, then you gotta take the licks.
Sometimes you gotta take these coin flips. If you're Paralon, maybe this is a sign that he's not feeling as confident versus Petric as maybe he should be.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not a sign of confidence anyway. And he will get some damage done, and it will be annoying for Petric. But the question is, how long is his base gonna last? And he's not building any more factories, so that's not a good sign. And Petric also sending his ACU, and I think that's the perfect response. You see Petric's ACU already out of the base, heading towards the proxy. That's going to make it extremely difficult for the proxy to survive.
Well, I don't think the proxy's planning on surviving. This is like the minimal commitment proxy. So you build your 3 land factories, you don't bother PD, static AA. The goal is to be annoying, not to have it take over this side of the map.
Yeah, well, I think that might be... Well, you see now he's starting to build more factories again, so... I think he should focus on stealing reclaim, probably. Getting Mantis in annoying areas. And, well, really focus on his expansion elsewhere, because... I don't think this proxy is not going to survive, and if he adds more factories, I don't think it's really going to help him too much. He needs to focus on the rest of the map. There's still the map is just
it's huge,
and there's resources everywhere. So maybe he should, just get a PD so it survives longer, and focus his APM, which is going to be limited on a map like this, in other areas, because this proxy, it's already getting found immediately means that its effectiveness is automatically going to be far lower than he would have wanted.
Looks like Paralon's going to try to set up a second sort of proxy land production on the right flank over here to counter the aggression that Petric has actually sent out over 2 minutes ago to raid this expansion. And it might be pretty effective.
Yeah, I think these units are going to do a bit of damage in the expansion. I'm not sure why Paralon is dropping in places like the Hydros and not in the bases. I mean, yes, there's reclaim, but the mexes are the best source of mass. Even if there is 125k on the map, it's extremely difficult to grab it all. So
I guess maybe Paralon says, you know what, I'll just click on rocks. I'm up more than 1k reclaim on Petric at this point, making a significant investment into grabbing all that reclaim. But the thing is, it will eventually run out.
It will, and also, it's very unstable income, and at some point you can just suddenly have minus 100 mass, and it's much easier to build a mex, get +2 mass forever, than it is to micromanage engineers for the rest of the game to get reclaim. And also, it's just much more defensible if you drop in this base on the right, get a PD up and something. But
Paralon just keeps taking
time has passed.
Terrible trades on the left side, just constant bad trades versus these tanks. And now that the ACU is here, I'm not sure he can hold this position.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Paralon, well, there needs to be, get the Zooey in there, start taking out the PD, and then the ACU can clean up everything with the help of some tanks. And then what's going to happen is the left side for Paralon is going to look really weak. Like, where's his land production in his core base. I don't really see it. Where's the land production on the right side? There's some factories. Most of his land production is going to die to the ACU. And he's going to have to replace that production
Although he's actually
in
starting
a
to take
safer
great
spot.
trades on the left side, actually. He might actually be able to turn this around and maybe counter push.
Um, it looks no, I don't think so. I mean, Petric has a lot of idle units actually on the left next to that base that he has, and Petric just needs to be careful. I mean, he has water next to him, so he's not going to get overrun by these 15, 20 tanks anyway. But Petric just needs to focus a little bit more on taking the base out, and then he can. His life is going to be so much easier once he removes that tumor from his expansion.
Yeah, but Paralon does not want it removed. And he's spent a lot of mass making sure that this is just very difficult to kill. Like,
Yeah,
continuing
he
to
has.
invest mass into this. Minute
Yeah,
9.
he has good production. He's adding another factory. He's got 2 PDs. He's got an anti-air. So he is pretty well set up. But again, I mean, Petric has more factories right next to this position. He also has T2 land finish now, making his T2 PGen. I think we'll see some T2 support factories go up on either side of the map, if I had to guess. And then at the same time, we may also see the HQ go to T3. Because again, there's just so much mass in this map. The sides, the corners, not really being taken too quickly, but I mean that's understandable because I mean the whole center of the map is also looking very empty of units and buildings.
I think we're starting to see the drawbacks of having your land production almost completely surrounded. This push on the left side can actually just walk through and perhaps even into the main base if it wants to. There's nothing to stop it except perhaps a few bombers.
Yeah, the lack of production in the main base is really strange. I don't like. Obviously, you can afford a lot of production, but all the units have been sent up through the middle and towards the right, and there's no defenses for the base on the left. But the flip side is that Petric is attacking here with quite a few units on downwards on the left side, which means that he's actually allowing this proxy to survive for longer. Maybe it's going to turn into just more mass deposited in that area once he eventually does clear it out, but for now he's not really dealing with the proxy. Maybe an ACU upgrade. I mean, if he makes the gun, he can just walk in there and kill everything, I think.
We're
Question
starting
is,
to
does he need
see
that?
Paralon really getting on the back foot here. He does not have the map control that Petric does. Yeah, this proxy was a nice idea, but at this point, it's just slowly crumbling. The factories on the outskirts are dying to Zuis. He's losing
Yeah,
his nearby Form X expansions to run-bys. It's not looking terribly great. Although this is a nice trade on the left side.
yeah, he is getting that. That is a good trade, but on the other side, he's losing. He's going to lose the entire production for that cost. So really, it's not a good trade because he is going to lose the PDs. He's already lost multiple factories. So
I almost
in
want to.
isolation, it's good. In general, not quite as good as it looks.
Perhaps these Mantis just actually want to like run away and try to come back to his own Form X expansion.
Yeah, I mean they'd be more useful there, I guess. Bomber's working, and yeah, Petric looks to be in a good position. I'm wondering. Yeah, he's making a second T2 Pigeon. He's making T2 Air now. Paralon has T2 Air already, but doesn't look to have air control at all. Petric with air almost over Paralon's base. So
Yeah, this
and
gunship can just immediately die if the Intus decide that they want to kill it.
yeah,
He's built in
very
T2PD in the main
very.
base.
Oh yeah, that's a bad sign.
It's not a
But
sign
it's
of
gonna.
confidence.
No, I mean he has taken a lot of damage on the left side now. Lost that whole expansion. Paralon may be able to take back the right expansion, although he has no Medusa, so the PD actually will do enough and hold that for now. A lot of raids from Paralon. it's got to be said he's doing some very good raiding. I mean, look, he's in the main base here, getting a mechs behind there. He's in the right expansion,
He's
killing
really
mexes.
everywhere. Like, he's getting
Yeah.
nice raids off, and this is what you'd expect from a nice Cybern player, but at the same time... Oh, this one's actually upgrading to T2. That's nice. But I
Yeah,
was
and
saying, like, he needs to do more than just nice little raids that kill a mech for 30 seconds before it's rebuilt. He needs
well, I
lasting map
mean,
control.
he is doing well in terms of if you look at the center of the map, he's got huge map control in the center. Petric really lacking in the middle of the map, but Petric does clear up the proxy on the left side finally. And overall, in the outside bases, which is where most of the mexes are, Petric is certainly way ahead in that area. Paralon has more in the middle, but that doesn't really make up for it. Also, the sides, there's some interesting battles going on. The bottom right corner, for example. Multiple factories from both of them, and there's some skirmishes, and Paralon has the Hydro, but
This is just a terribly messy game.
yeah. This is perfect for Petric. This is what he lives for. I'm a bit surprised by Well, I'm not really surprised by T2 Air. I'm surprised that there wouldn't really be a T3 land rush from Paralon, or maybe just more spam. I think both of them both of them are struggling to get the reclaim. There's so much reclaim still around the map, and it is tough to get. You have to produce a lot of engineers, but yeah, maybe Paralon T3 land should have been an aim for him.
I mean, he's just been struggling to fight off all these T1 land incursions, and now that the proxy has just been completely destroyed, all those land units are starting to make their way south. And meanwhile,
Yeah.
Paralon has taken a few good air fights in the meanwhile. He does have air control, at least locally. But
Yeah. Oh, there's 4 Ilshis in this transport, and the transport's cross paths here in the bottom right. Will the Ilshis land? Oh, that's. Oh, they do land.
transport immediately
Yeah.
dies, but 4 Elshie's here. You know, I wish there was a flak with this.
Yeah, that's true, but this is still a very nice drop. I mean,
It's
you
going to
kill
kill
everything.
everything.
I think he was hoping to get all the way to the main base, really. And actually, Paralon is going T3 land. He's got 22% T3 land now. If I look at Petric, he's not aiming for T3 land. He's going to focus on air at the moment, it seems. Which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, the freeing up all this production on the left for Petric, and also some of it is now T2. All that production now is pointed downwards towards the main base instead of towards the proxy. So Paralon's in for some trouble here, and T3 land is not going to be done before these units arrive.
Maybe he's looking to get some value out of that T2 PD he built in his base.
Yeah, it's like, go to the main base. I have defenses here. Meanwhile, it's 1 PD. I think he's gonna need a few more. Maybe, yeah, the ACU is standing there like some kind of hero, just right in the middle, thinking he can stop 40, 50, 60 T1 tanks. I don't think so.
He can
He's-
certainly
he's gonna-
try.
Exactly, he will try, but it's gonna be tough for him. Nice. I love the base on the right side for Petric, where he's saved it with 1 PD, which has 22 kills, 921 mass killed. He has a factory that's gotten to T2 now, and now he's going to build T2 PDs and save it for probably, if I had to guess, the rest of the game. So that is a hero outpost there on the right expansion.
And you were pointing out how Paralon had this sort of middle of the map control that was allowing him to sort of keep pace with Petric because he lost his outer expansions, and that's just completely gone at this point. The army has arrived on the front doorstep.
Yeah, I think Paralon is gonna look back on this pick and think it was not a good one. Don't think he's gonna be proud of this map choice. And he may, I mean, he's gonna take some damage even just from these T1 tanks here. Trying to use gunships, but again, no air control. Doesn't seem to be any advantage for Paralon at this moment. He still doesn't have T3 land finished. And he may actually die here. He's not dodging.
I think the demoralization is setting in, and he'll just take his L and move on.
Maybe. Maybe it looks like he's gonna dodge a little bit anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe he's changed his mind.
Yeah, there we go.
Not as much as he needed to, though.
Oops, oops, indeed. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I think his strategy was not correct. I think the proxy on this map doesn't. I think the positioning of it, and maybe also in general, though, that kind of proxy is not as strong as it is on other maps like the ditch, for example, where it's super strong.
I know.
So maybe
I feel like Paralon, he made a gambit here, and the fact that it ended up getting scouted basically immediately just completely threw it. And at that point, he was fighting somewhat of a losing battle.